just showed up on my station's app. So fuck.
Hey guys, welcome to License to View. This is a weekly podcast where two best friends get together, talk about pop culture stuff, and we're gonna start out with the breaking news from
Yeah.
at the get go, so we can get through it and into the regular scheduled program.
Yes.
Zach, lay it on me, man.
Well, I mean, I didn't hear it until you told me about it, and now it's real because my station's app just posted at it. But Seawn Connery's dead, dude.
Seawn Connery has passed away.
90 years old.
90 years old, man.
What a legend, dude. What a freaking legend.
And he'll go down in the halls of cinema history as, you know,
I would say probably one of the great
for
actors.
for his performance in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It is.
Oh my god.
No, but seriously,
Can I be honest with you? Like, you
Yeah,
told
sure.
me that, and it was like the first things I thought was like Bond, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
It's funny because my first reaction was Bond, The Rock.
Oh yeah, The Rock.
You know, but obviously powerhouse, obviously legend. Just for even if he didn't do anything besides Bond,
Yeah.
then he's powerful. You know, like
I mean, even just doing that. I mean, he has like, I don't know if he has the. I think
no, he has five, I think.
Yeah, because Roger Moore has the most. But, I
Roger
mean,
Moore has the most. Yeah,
he's up there with like. I mean, he's like.
I'm pretty sure it's like I'm pretty sure.
I think Daniel.
I think Daniel Craig and him. I think Daniel Craig and him are about to have the same amount.
I think Daniel Craig's about to overtake him because I think this is Craig's sixth. No, is it his
Fifth?
Sixth? No, it is his fifth. Okay, yeah.
Fifth,
So,
yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Connery has five as well. I think he did. I thought he did four in a row, and then he quit, and then they did Lazenby for one, and then Connery came back for the last one, and then it became.
He came back for Thunderball, I think.
So I think he has five. I think Moore has like eight.
Moore
or
has
something,
like 8
nine
or 9 or some ridiculous amount. I think he almost hit double digits.
And then Dalton has two.
Yeah.
And then Brosnan has what, four?
Brosnan has
GoldenEye,
Die Another Day.
World is Yours.
The world is not enough.
World's Not Enough.
And then I think he only has four because there's a fourth one too that I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah, because there's GoldenEye, then there's the skiing one, there's one with
Halle
the
Berry one.
Yeah, the Halle Berry one's the last.
There's the
one.
Michelle Yeoh one.
Yeah, and then that's also the Halle Berry one because I think she's also in that. Because that's the last one, which is against North Korea.
The worst Bond.
And then he has that's
the worst. That's the worst Bond.
Yeah, the worst Bond movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Because I like GoldenEye a lot from Brosnan, but like he never hits GoldenEye again. Like GoldenEye was his first one; it's his best one, and he never does anything close to that.
I still say that, like he embodied. Obviously, we're talking about Sean Connery here. But
yeah.
Like, as the guy who set the template for what Bond is supposed to be, he hits all the pieces a little bit well, like each individually. So he hits the suave, and he hits the action, quote unquote action pack from the time that it was made.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. He's physical. He looks good by those standards of those years. You know, obviously, like in reality, if we were gonna judge the '80s Bonds by like '80s standards, then like Roger Moore, he's already old as shit when he started doing it. But like, if we're going to judge it by the standards of the era, then Bond should have been Schwarzenegger sized.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, yeah, Daniel Craig size.
You know, but so Pierce Brosnan has too much suave and not enough anything else.
Yeah, he's not really much of a action guy, as far as like actual like hand-to-hand choreography. I mean, he does fine with like the gun stuff, but a lot of his stuff in Bond was like not physical stuff.
Yeah.
Like he really doesn't get into a lot of like hand-to-hand fights. It's really him with like a lot of guns. He has that famous scene where he drives around in a tank for God knows why. But yeah, I think at least, I mean, for what we can say about Connery's action, at least he tries.
Is it safe to say, and again, I think that for the era those movies were made, that's that's an action movie. Like, Sean Connery's doing like highbrow action for those movies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go back, if you go watch the documentaries that I mentioned to you a while back, called the last in search of the last action hero or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they talk the documentary is like 2.5 hours about action movies,
Yeah.
and they're talking to like these like really famous action stars and stuntmen and women directors, and they're like, yeah, like Bond was like the first. Bond was
Yeah.
one of the first big ones. I was like, this is a major motion picture, and it's an action movie in some sense. So
Mm-hmm.
for that, he'll always be a legend. Obviously, Highlander and all these great classic like
Yeah.
movies. But at the end of the day, he's still not my favorite Bond. But
No, I wouldn't say he's my favorite Bond, but he's iconic
he's
for
iconic.
different
Yeah,
reasons. Yeah.
it's the accent and the Irish and
Mm-hmm.
the one liners and even in the Rock, he has such great one liners. So
Yeah.
that is a bummer. 2020 just pulls everyone, man. Van Halen, did we
Just
get?
pulls everybody, man. I just can't. I just want this year to be over.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want this week. I want this week to be over because in 3 days, my life is about to be hell for like 12 hours, and then after that, I can just turn off my brain, which
what?
will be
Why is
nice.
that?
Election day.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought you were gonna say sweeps for a second.
No, well, sweeps haven't really been like as big of a thing for us this year because with COVID and everything, I think they just started doing like actual having people like put together sweeps
Yeah.
packages again, for this month. So it hasn't been too big of a deal. But
Right. But
fucking
election day.
election
Yeah.
coverage, dude, ugh, I
Yeah.
hate it. It's such
Yeah.
tedious bullshit.
Yeah. And it's worse too because like this is your first presidential election,
Yeah, it is.
right? And you're in a way bigger city than like
Mm-hmm.
when I worked it.
Yeah,
And when I worked it, it was miserable,
yeah.
right? I mean, I was from like 7 a.m. until
Mm-hmm.
like the last ballot came in,
Yeah,
and then obviously it was different because of my gig, but like having to sit in a room full of people
yeah,
who did not get the outcome they wanted,
yeah,
you're sitting there like this.
yeah,
Okay. So that's gonna be fun
yeah.
for you at least. Hey, you know what
Mm-hmm.
was even worse? I'll tell you right now. This is why
Mm-hmm.
I gave you this advice. No, this is not related to pop culture. It's related to the news industry.
Yeah.
I gave you this advice. I think like when you first got your first gig.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you again right now. Um, when your reporters and photogs get the email that there's food in the break room,
Yeah.
they don't appreciate it because they're not there.
Yeah.
They get mad because they're not there because they're
Yeah.
eating gas station food.
Yeah.
You know, I remember like,
Yeah.
during a hurricane one year, where I was out in the middle of a fucking storm, and I get an email on my phone being like, "Hey everybody, we have Jimmy John's in the break room," and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Motherfucker, I am eating Slim Jims." This is when like there's lockdown hurricanes, right? So everything's
Yeah.
closed. I'm like, I'm in a line of 30 people deep in a fucking Sunoco trying to
Yeah.
buy a bag of Takis. That's what I'm eating for
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah. That was that's always the part that I find, yeah, not good.
It's bad taste.
Yeah.
But Zach, it's beginning of the week or beginning of the podcast week. What
Yes.
have you been checking out, man? What have you been watching, reading, playing?
Jason, I have told you a little bit about my journey, but I finally used my brain and remembered that my dad had a VPN service. And I was like, I've heard a lot about these VPNs. I've heard multiple ads from podcasters talking about how VPNs are good for you and how you can use them to connect to areas that you normally wouldn't be able to connect to. So I've been connecting to Japan and have been using Netflix Japan. And it's just better than American Netflix because it
Right.
has everything that America has basically. At least, the big stuff. Um, but then it also has so much anime. So much anime. Classic stuff too, like good stuff. I mean, when I was talking to you, I was rolling through a little bit because you were asking me what was on there earlier in the week. And I mean, they've got basically everything that Crunchyroll and stuff has, like all the big stuff. Like they've got all the One Piece and Naruto and Bleach and all that good stuff. Um, but I also have one of the reasons that I wanted to get it in the first place is because the new season of Higurashi is out, and I was like, damn it, dude, like I can't remember anything about this damn show. I watched it when I was like in high school and like I had a teeny weeny baby brain that like barely comprehended what the hell I was watching except for like the cool visuals. So I want to rewatch it. and I can't find it anywhere except for Netflix Japan. Like, this is the only freaking website in the entire world that has this damn show
Right.
from 2006.
Beat 'em up,
So,
guys!
so I was
Go
watching
for
that. So I
broke!
finished the first season this week, and yeah, it's still a really freaking good show.
I still have never seen it.
It's interesting show. I mean, it's like I wouldn't consider it a horror. Well, it's got horror elements in it, but it's really not like it's not like demons or ghosts.
I always thought it.
It's more like a thriller. But
my mind always pictured it as a supernatural thriller.
it's got supernatural elements in it, but it's not like ghosts or demons or anything like that. It's much more of like it's much more psychological than that. I mean, its basic premise is that this group of kids that live in the country have to relive this summer over and over again for some unknown reason. You keep seeing events playing out in this 1 week of the summer in June of I think it's 1983, over and over again, and you can't figure out why they're repeating it. And each time they repeat it, somebody goes crazy or something like that, and
Right.
a bunch of kids die, which is just like it's got the imagery of like. I was watching because I like to look up anime openings and whatnot when I'm like doing work. Because a lot of times when it's in Japanese, I'm not super paying attention to it because I don't understand it, and the music's really good a lot of the time. But I was like reading through comments, and it was like basically this show like started the it's like the reverse of the meme because a lot of anime these days is like cute anime girls do blah 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 blah.
Right.
And this show's basically cute anime girls kill each other.
Yeah.
So, but it's a super fun show. I'm interested getting into like the mystery of it and whatnot. I finished the first season and the second season's on there too, so I'm probably gonna start that fairly soon after I finish the other thing that I was watching.
Okay.
Which was because I've never seen this show, or at least if I have, I've maybe seen like an episode or two.
Right.
But I've never really like actually sat down and like try to comprehend what I was watching the whole time. So they have the classic Ghost in the Shell standalone complex on Netflix Japan. So I'm watching through that. I'm about halfway through the first season, and this is much better for like the world of Cyberpunk than like a movie ever would be.
Oh yeah.
I think it digs a lot more into, and especially like Cyberpunk coming out, which we'll get to later. I think this is a good primer for immersing myself in like a cyberpunk world and like what exactly it means to have like all this different technology melding around with like people and like what the society would like be like with this heavy mix of like technology into like our everyday lives. It's like almost everybody has like some sort of technical prosthetic or cyborgization, or you have an android as like your butler or whatnot, and like that kind of weird stuff. So I'm digging that a lot, and I really like the characters, which is, I mean, the Major's always great, but at least from what I remember of the movie, it's just like, I feel like this one focuses a lot more on Bato and Togusa, which is interesting to me, just focusing on Togusa so much. I mean, I get why, because he's like the only one that's like really human. He's like the minimal enhancements of all of them, and so it makes sense because he's the most human character for you to like grasp onto. But
so I'm going off of old Gits. I'm going off of old Gits sack knowledge. But when I remember when I was watching at least the first series, not second gig, in my mind I always thought that they really focused on Togusa and brought him more to the forefront because he's the only cop. Because they're all military.
Yeah, I guess I could say.
So and they're all military, but they're now they're working as cops.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't he's the only detective, so he understands procedure and investigations, whereas like Bato was a soldier, the Major was a soldier, the sniper was a soldier, there's the hitman character. Like, these guys were all like espionage, special forces kind of characters, whereas Togusa is the only human and the only investigator by trade, and he was never a soldier. So that's like the dichotomy of like, okay, these people are trained killers, and he is the only in their machine.
Mm-hmm.
they're more machine than human in some sense, whereas he is the only one that has just the neural link.
Yeah.
Everything else is human. He has a family, he has kids,
Yeah.
and he's an investigator. So to me,
Mm-hmm.
it was like that double edged thing of like, okay, well, it's a good verses between him and Bato, who are like, Bato's gave rid of all of his body parts so he can become a better soldier.
Yeah.
Obviously with the major, they never really tell you. They kind of give you hints at everything. Like in different series, they give you different options. But like the idea is that she lost her body when she was really young,
Mm-hmm.
so like she never had the opportunity to give it away. Whereas Bato was like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck it, like I want to become the White Wolf. Give me the fucking
Yeah.
give me the new eyes and the arms and all this kind of shit. So
Yeah.
that to me is why I thought why they chose to put him as a forefront character.
Yeah. That makes sense. Um, and I think that really shines through in the series a lot. Just how, um, yeah, how his thought process is a lot different from anybody else. Because yeah, it's like there are multiple episodes that are just mini investigations, and it always seems like he ends up taking the lead as far as like breaking down like what the case is and like what the evidence they have and like what they're trying to do and whatnot.
Right.
For the most part, he seems to have like the best grasp on that, and they all kind of like follow his lead um, in that sense of like what they're trying to do. Um, I really hadn't seen too much of like. It's funny that you bring up like the Bato being a ranger because it really hadn't been like brought up that much, like how different his upbringing was really until like the episode that I just watched, which really dug into the like his past as a ranger, which is the episode where there was the other guy who was a former ranger that like was this part of like some CIA
Mm-hmm.
plan to like do like uh, deep cover in like enemy territory and like torture like women and children to like disenfranchise like enemy groups and stuff like that, which is like also super fucked up for like a
Yeah.
TV show. Like even Gits is like super messed up, where he's like peeling people's skin off in like the form of a T-shirt and like
Mm-hmm.
the. Um, but yeah, that was the first time I'd seen in the show where it was like Bato was like his first instinct wasn't to like try to be a police officer. He was like, no, like I'm gonna kill this dude and like bring
Yeah.
him in a body bag and like you're gonna have to light him home in pieces.
Right.
Which he doesn't do in the end. He ends up like come to his better nature. But I mean, for like 19 minutes out of a
22
21
minute.
minute from a 22-minute episode, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna like murder this dude.
And that's the thing about the show that is better than the movie and better than the manga is that you get the team. Like you don't
Yeah,
get the team in the movie, you don't get the team in the manga. They're
yeah. The
there,
movie's really just about
but it's about the
the
major.
major.
Like
Yeah.
even in the movies about Major and Bato's there, and they hint
Yeah.
at them being a weird thing, like he saves her when she's in the water or whatever the fuck. But
Hmm.
like the show really broadens the team out and gives everyone some time to shine in
Hmm.
some sense. Like even in the movies for the show,
Hmm.
I can't remember what they're called because I have I have the first one,
I
but
saw one of them is on Netflix too. I can't remember what
yeah,
it's called.
I have the first one, but I can't remember what it's called. But they give the team more personality, and it
Hmm.
becomes more of a team show. Obviously, Major and Bato are still the number two, like the one and two characters.
Yeah.
Um, but it's better in that sense because you get the whole idea of like, okay, everyone has a specialty. We learn the specialties, and like
Yeah.
they get to use them in each investigation and stuff like that. Which is cool compared to like, okay, here's the major. My one problem with Ghost in the Shell, and it's not even because it's not even quality or style or writing, is
Hmm.
that we go from it's an artistic choice, and it really bugs me. And I'm not
Hmm.
saying either one is right or wrong. I'm just saying it bugs me that they do this. Whereas
Hmm.
like we'll go for so many years or episodes or incarnations of the major being this like super like curvy character, like
Well,
sexual
that's the thing that
character.
like stands out to me so much with Standalone in particular. Is just like the way she's dressed most of the time, like her casual outfit. I was like,
Yeah,
this is not a casual outfit. She's like basically in like
it's
a
like
one piece with
it's
like a
the
leather jacket
and
on.
it's not even like it might be because I can't remember, but I'm sure it is. But like and you wouldn't wear your invisibility tax suit thing all the time.
Yeah.
Like you wear regular clothes. Like
Yeah.
the jacket's cool. Don't get me wrong. The jacket's
The
cool.
jacket, I mean, it's a dope look, but it's like every time I look at her, like everybody else is dressed in like normal clothes, and she's there like in a one. It looks like
Yeah.
it might be her tracksuit, but it looks like a one piece,
No,
where
her,
she's just
it
like
was one
wearing a
piece. It's a one
swimsuit.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah,
But then
and then she's got
also
that on and a
she's like
jacket.
super like curvy and like
Yeah.
whatever sexualized character, which
Hmm.
is a style. It's anime, whatever.
Yeah.
But then they decide to go on the complete opposite end for the other incarnations and make her like a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Like it's two ends of two different spectrums. Like there's
Hmm.
no middle ground. Like they go from having her be like this tall, like super big boobed, big butt character who's over sexualized, and she uses
Hmm.
it to her advantage because she was like a spy,
Yeah.
to being this like small, literally like petite character,
Yeah.
and like I don't know if I can't remember in the remake or whatever it's called, the reboot.
The
If
Arise stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember if anyone ever like hits on her or whatever, but like
I know
she's in a dress at one
she's in
point.
a relationship at one point. Like she's in an actual relationship with somebody, if I can remember, from one of the films. Um, it's been a couple of years since I watched the
Yeah,
reboots, but
it's more of a stylistic choice. It really
yeah,
bugged me to go from like
it is strange like going to this and like seeing the other incarnations of her. She looks so much different in this compared to like
yeah.
everything else.
I think I think Standalone Complex is the best version of her in terms of how she looks. Because she even looks to me, she looks better in the show than she does in the movie. Like I think the movie they
Yeah,
look different.
I'd have to rewatch the movie again, but
They have similar body types, but
yeah.
facially they look different. And
Okay.
also I think and the voice actor who does the Major is really good in the show.
Yeah, she's really really good. I
Yeah.
like her a lot.
So
Yeah, but those are the two big things, you know, kind of big powerhouse shows, each of them over 20 episodes a season. So I'm kind of plugging through those. So I really didn't get a chance to check out too much else.
okay.
Jason, what have you been watching?
Oh man, excuse me. I have a couple things on my list,
Okay.
and I want to hit on the fun stuff first. Hocus Pocus.
Oh shit, dude.
I have never seen it, or I thought I'd never seen it.
Okay.
My girlfriend and I was watching Halloween movies last week,
Yeah.
and she's never seen it.
She's flat out never seen it.
Confirmed, never seen it. And
That's so strange. I feel like that's much more of like a girl's first Halloween movie than
yeah,
like anything
I
else.
couldn't tell you what the story was about. And then I remember I was looking at the Disney Plus like title card. I was like, they look so familiar. Like
Yeah.
this movie, I'm having like flashes of this movie in my mind. I don't know what the fuck it is. So we were
Yeah.
watching it, and the beginning opening scene, I'm like, oh my god, I've seen this movie in some way. I know that guy looks
Okay.
so familiar. I'm like, there's a graveyard at some point. Flash forward 40 minutes, there's a fucking graveyard. I'm like, yes, I know this fucking movie. I definitely have seen it, but I don't remember. I didn't remember
Hmm.
anything really.
Well,
Um,
the thing that's always surprising me is that the guy in the graveyard at the beginning
yes,
is
yeah.
Proby from
That
NCIS.
that surprised us as well.
Yes.
Because literally within the first 4 minutes, Savannah goes, "He looks familiar."
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. What is he from? She goes, that's the guy from NCIS.
Mm-hmm.
I was too focused on how Sarah Jessica Parker looked.
She looks. Well, that was the other thing because I was at work yesterday and one of the anchors was like talking about something. I guess Sarah Jessica Parker was on today. He was like, "Oh, she's the Hocus Pocus remake or something like that,"
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, "Huh?"
The
I was
reunion,
like,
yeah.
"What?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Sarah
Yeah.
Jessica Parker was in that because she looks
Yeah.
so different
She's young.
to even like what she looks like. Like it doesn't look like the same actress."
It's funny because no, again, like my girlfriend loves Sex in the City. Like she
Yeah.
rewatches the whole show like every year,
Mm.
right? So I
That's her
see.
psych.
So I see. Well, no, her psych is like Friends. Like
Mm.
she quotes she quotes Friends all day, right?
Gotcha.
But so she's gonna start rewatching it again soon. She's ready for to rewatch Sex in the City,
Mm.
and like every time she watches it, I catch parts of it because I'm there just by
Yeah.
osmosis, and she'll ask me like, who do you think's the best looking one? I'm like, it's fucking duh, it's this one. It's the blonde chick, obviously, right? So like, we're watching this movie. I'm like, man, like she looked good back in the fucking early '90s, man. She looks great, you know. And they play her like a fucking ditzy, like,
Yeah.
And maybe that's like why like all the guys like her. She plays a ditzy ass witch character, but besides that, the fucking main character is such a dick.
Which one?
The main guy is such a dick to his sister,
Oh, the
man.
Catman. Yeah, he's a dick.
Such a
No, wait,
dick.
Catman.
No, the main character, the main
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. Oh yeah, because he's like, hey, I don't want to go Halloween
Yeah,
with this
I
like
don't want to go
little
Halloween with
girl.
you.
Fuck this shit,
I don't
mom.
want. I don't want to go Halloween with you. Fuck this shit. And then
But
like,
then the hot girl comes. He's like, oh yeah, I'll go Halloween.
well
Oh yeah.
then he goes. He says, "Oh, there's that haunted mansion area. Do you want to go to that?" And his sister's like, "No, I don't want to go." But then literally 2 minutes
Shut
before
up, we're
that,
going.
when the hot girl first shows up,
Mm-hmm.
the sister literally says, "My brother likes your boobs." Like she didn't use those words, but she was like, "That's what it was," and the girl's like, "Oh, really?" It's like
Yeah.
no one can
No.
recover from your little sister being like, "My brother's told me he likes your tits."
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way that recovers. Um, Other than that, I thought it was a really fun movie. I see why it's a cult classic because it was really interesting, and
Yeah,
I
it's super
really
fun.
don't, I really usually don't enjoy like, um, uh, what's it
Cult
called?
classics.
No, no, oh well, no, of course I do, but I don't really, I usually don't enjoy like holiday themed movies.
Ah, okay.
Like I like horror, I like scary movies, and like I like scary stuff, like
Yeah.
like Monster Squad, that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it's about Halloween, I usually
Mm-hmm.
don't enjoy it, or about Christmas, I usually don't enjoy it.
Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
it depends on usually depends on the packaging. Like
Okay.
I love Psych because Psych does those things very well.
Yeah.
They usually hint that it's usually a really good story. It's a
Mm-hmm.
background. The Halloween episodes are obviously very homagey, so that's stuff like that.
Well,
Whereas like
Christmas episodes are psych of like some of the best.
they're some of the best. Whereas like I don't I like my girlfriend really loves Christmas Vacation, that movie.
Okay.
I I don't like it.
I still haven't seen it.
I've seen maybe half of it. This movie. Also, I don't really like Chevy Chase, but
I haven't seen actually really any of the Lampoon movies. I
I've
mean, I've seen like pieces of them, but like never actually
I've
like sat down and watched any of them.
only seen the Ryan Reynolds one,
Oh yeah, the remake that they did.
whatever it's called,
No wait.
Van Wilder.
Oh, I thought you were talking. I don't know why, but I thought of because they did a remake of Family Vacation too
They did, yeah.
with Ed Helms
Jason Sudeikis, or
or
is that?
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Sudeikis.
Well, it's not even a remake because that he's playing the son.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure
thought
he's.
he was just Chevy Chase's character.
No, I'm pretty sure he's playing Chevy Chase's son in
Oh,
like as an adult. I'm pretty sure.
that's stupid. Because
Yeah.
it's just the same movie over again.
Right, right. Um, but so like Hocus Pocus, I thought it was really fun, and I can see
Yeah.
myself watching it again like in the future, because my girlfriend does like watching holiday movies. So like,
Hmm.
if I can find one that I like, that we both like, it's easier
Yeah.
for me to swallow, because I do not like during Christmas time. She watches like fucking
Elf.
those old ass, yes. But
Yes.
and I hate Elf. But she watches those old ass ones, like the fucking, oh my gosh. It gives me nightmares. It's the fucking one with like there's like the fucking fire guy and
Oh, the claymation like
the ice
Rudolph.
guy.
Yeah, with Jack Frost and
Fuck
oh
those
shoot,
movies.
what's his name? Jack Frost and I can't remember. Something like Bernie McBurnstone or
Whatever it
something
is,
like that.
it's the one where Christmas man is like he's like a kid or something, and he
It's
comes to
yeah, because it's
town.
about the elf that wants to be a dentist.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's called Christmas. Some's come to town. Whatever it is,
Hmm.
it fucking freaks me out. And then those songs play over and over again in my mind, and it makes me go crazy, right?
Interesting. Hmm.
So like Hocus Pocus being a movie that I enjoy, I can see myself watching it for future Halloweens, because it's a movie that I actually thought was a well-made movie. Not even because it was like the Halloween part wasn't relevant.
Yeah, not real. I mean, I think those make the hallmarks of great holiday movies, where the holiday is incidental. Because I mean, you think of Christmas movies like that. You got Home Alone.
Yeah,
You got Die
Die
Hard.
Hard.
You
Yeah,
got Gremlins.
like
You got some good Christmas
it's a
movies where
good
the holiday is incidental.
it's a good background, but the movie itself is just well written.
Yeah.
So that to me was why I enjoyed it, because the characters were fun,
Hmm.
the witches were fun, and their rapport was great, and then
Yeah.
the Halloween just happened to be a good backdrop to make the story progress.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it, and it was just a fun time.
Hmm.
Um, Versus something like I don't
Halloween.
know, Halloween. Yeah, Halloween, where it's like the remake Halloween, the
Hmm.
whatever the rebooted movie, where it's like, well, he comes back on Halloween. Okay, fuck you. Fuck, you can kill people whenever the fuck you want. There's no
You
point in
could.
coming back on
Yeah.
Halloween.
There's no
So
reason that that Michael Myers shouldn't just like constantly be on a
yeah,
rampage.
right, exactly. So Hocus Pocus, I read an entire series comic book,
Mm.
graphic novel. It's called Razzle. Have you ever seen Razzle?
I don't
RASL.
think so.
It is by Jeff Smith,
The name
who
sounds
is
familiar to
it's
me.
by Jeff Smith, who is known mostly for Bone,
Okay.
and Bone's great, and Razzle's
Oh, I
also
love
great.
Bone. Yeah, Bone's
Yeah,
great.
and Razzle's also great. It's a supernatural, not supernatural. It's
Razzle Dazzle Unicorn?
no RASL, all
Oh,
caps.
RASL.
Yeah,
Oh.
RASL, all caps. It is a science fiction thriller, X Files y kind of story, which is completely opposite of what Bone is.
Yeah.
And it's about real people,
Damn, I want to reread
based
Bone.
in real science, and it's about an art thief who uses this device to transport to alternate dimensions to steal paintings.
Okay.
And eventually, the government finds out he's doing it, and they start chasing him, and there's a hitman after him, and it's really good.
Huh.
And it's really good. It's really good, twisty. It's based in like real science from Tesla and all this kind of shit, and it's really fun. And it's really good
Interesting.
thriller. And it's a really quick read if you just kind of plow through. It's graphic novels, so
Mm-hmm.
I read it pretty quickly, and it's like 2 days. And it's Jeff Smith, so the
Interesting.
art's great, and I read the colored version, so the it looks great. Obviously, he does black and white work, but
Mm-hmm.
the colored version is really great.
Speaking
Um,
of all that timey-wimey stuff, it makes me want to reread, and finish because I think I stopped when it was still going on. But I want to go back and read the Manhattan Project, which is a
uh,
really fun.
John the Hickman.
Yeah, John Hickman, which I like a lot of his stuff. I was reading. I didn't realize it wasn't over when I started reading it because I started reading East to West. I think it was a couple years ago, and he was at like episode like 150 and was like not done, and I was like, God damn it, dude! Like I started reading this because I thought it was over. What do you mean it's still going on?
I mean, he's busy right now.
He's got a lot of stuff, man, and I like a lot of his work. I like his writing. He does a really good job of mixing in like, I mean, East of West is like the sci-fi mixed with like the cowboy stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we love, and then the Manhattan Project is
Well,
all
man,
like
they're fucking. What's it called?
weird,
They're all.
schlocky.
Aren't they all the horsemen?
East and West, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the main guys are, yeah. They're the horsemen of the apocalypse, yeah. But then there's also there's a bounty hunter that's like a robotic horseman. He's got like a robot dog and stuff like that,
See,
and yeah,
I
that's great.
haven't read any of his creator-owned work. I
Mm,
have only read his Marvel work.
okay.
So his Fantastic Four, his Future Foundation,
Hmm.
his current X-Men stuff. That's what I've read, and he's really good at most of those things.
Yeah.
I did drop his X-Men for a while because I thought the story was kind of whatever. But his
Is he
Fantastic
the one
Four
that's doing
run,
the rebooted X Men or whatever, the new X Men, or is that
yeah,
different?
he took over X Men when they brought it back. Yeah,
Okay,
so he's
it's
kind
like
of
X and the power of X and stuff
he's
like
like
that.
the spearhead of the current X storyline.
Now that they give
Um,
a crap now
Now that
because
they
they
give a
own them
shit,
again.
yeah. But his Future Foundation, his Fantastic Four run is amazing.
Okay.
He single handedly he has the best scene. I'm pretty sure it's him who wrote this. Who has the best scene? He writes Fantastic Four the best.
Okay.
He writes them super sciencey, super family. It's great. But
Well, he's great at doing that because yeah, I mean, like the Manhattan Project is all like super sciencey, like schlocky science. Like a lot of it feels like plots like straight out of a B movie.
well, he is like known for timey wimey,
Yeah.
mind bending stories.
Hmm.
But he has the single handedly my favorite Marvel scene of all time, probably, which is like hard to say, but it might be my top 10, top three, I guess. I don't know. Where there's a scene where Franklin Richards, who is the Sue and Reed's son, who's an Omega level mutant. He's like a super
Hmm.
powerful mutant, right? He he like sees a future of himself or something where he's an adult, and then like Galactus comes to Earth or something, and everyone's like freaking out, right? And then the panel cuts to an adult Franklin, and Galactus is his herald. Like, so like he is Galactus for Franklin as an adult, that becomes his Silver Surfer.
Damn.
Like that's how powerful he is. Like he's a
Yeah.
Omega level, fucking space level. Like,
Well, his power, he basically can like do whatever he wants. Like
yeah.
he like manipulates reality or some shit, right?
I'm pretty sure in the current run, because I haven't read Fantastic Four in a couple months, but
Mm.
from what I understand, I could be wrong because I haven't read it in a while. I just started picking him up again. I
Mm-hmm.
think they're capping his power by saying it's gonna go away or something. Like if he uses it, I think he's losing it if he uses it. I think
Okay.
something like that, because like there's no way you can let that character survive.
No, I
Because
mean he
in any
basically breaks any
like
story.
in any
So
future, anytime you do a story like Old Man Logan or Old Man Hawkeye, like or Deadpool wins, you can't because you
well, it's like
have
anything you do, any sort of crossover event, and it's just like Frank stops it, and it's like that's the end of the story.
well, you say at a kid he's not good enough yet, right?
Okay.
But like okay, just survive until you are, and then you
Yeah.
just would win, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Razzle, it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I read the first 4 issues of the new series of Chew. Did you ever read
Chew has a
Chew?
new series.
Yeah, so
I read it. I don't think I finished it. Because I borrowed a lot of your trades, I
right,
think, and then I
you
was
did,
reading
yeah.
a bunch of it on my own, but I don't think I ever finished it.
Well, Chew ended a couple years back, and it's really good. It was really good.
Mhm.
And then the
I enjoyed
artist,
Chew a lot.
yeah, it's super well written and creative. And the artist Rob Guillory went to go do his own book called Farmhand, and it's really good. And the writer John Layman went to go do his own book. Well, John Layman came back to the Chew universe with a new story, and Rob Guillory signed off on it and said, "Yeah, go ahead." So they have a new artist who
Mm-hmm.
draws similarly to Rob Guillory, but not
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And this book is called Chu, and it's spelled Chu, which is how their last name is spelled.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not sure if you remember from Chu, the main book
Yeah.
or the first book, is that there's a bunch of siblings.
Yeah.
Like he has a twin sister. There's another set of twins under him. He has an
Mm-hmm.
older brother who's a chef. His other older sister is a huge ass family.
Yeah.
So this book follows his younger sister, who's a twin, named Saffron Chu, and she's a thief.
Okay.
And she's a cybopars. So Tony is a cybopath, which means he can eat food or eat something and get the mental images of what happened to that thing.
Yeah.
That's how he can solve crimes and solve the chicken crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas his sister can eat something and see who's like lying or feel who's lying or telling the truth, but she
Huh.
has to like eat what they're eating or drink what they're drinking.
Huh.
Right. So
Okay.
she's a thief who works in intelligence in the side of it. So she'll be working as a part
Gotcha.
of a crew, and she'll like drink what the person is drinking who's the target, and she'll like learn like codes to vaults and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
the first issue, there's a robbery of a big gangster, and it goes wrong. Her whole team is like fucked up, and her boyfriend, who's a shitty safecracker, are put on a hit list, and they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to like survive. And it's a prequel, so like
Okay.
excuse me, it happens right before Chew takes place.
Okay.
So the crisis that's happening in Chew hasn't happened yet. It's just kind of starting to slowly happen.
Mm-hmm.
So Tony's there, and he's like, he knows something's wrong, but he can't fucking figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's like licking up blood and being like, someone's here. I know something's here. So it ends up being like Saffron trying to survive against the people trying to kill her,
Mm-hmm.
her shitty ass boyfriend, and also to not get caught
By her brother.
by her brother, who's a cop.
Okay.
So it's really good so far. It's only 4 issues in. I would love for
Interesting.
it to be a full 60 issues like the last Chew was, but we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, so read that, and then I watched the first 3 episodes of Truth Seekers.
Oh yeah, I saw that that was out. I want
Yeah,
to watch that.
really good so far. It's only
You
it's
like it?
eight
Okay.
episodes. It's really really good so far. It's shot really really well. The cast is really good.
Hmm.
Nick Frost is obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg's only in it as the boss character.
Okay.
Small bits in here every episode.
Not super
Um,
involved.
not super involved just yet. Nick Frost is definitely the lead.
Hmm.
Ian McDonald's in it. He's good. It's a fun show, and they shoot the horror pretty well, like the scary
Hmm.
stuff pretty well. Um, I'm excited to see where it goes, and hopefully they'll do a second season so far because I think it's good so far,
Yeah.
just enough to warrant another 8 episodes.
Hmm.
Because Nick Frost alone is just a powerhouse. He's so funny,
Yeah.
and I think what was I gonna say? I don't know. It's good so far. It's really good. So I'm
Okay.
looking forward to finishing that. Um, quickly, I mentioned to you that I started watching Ghost Nation. Speaking of Truth Seekers, Ghost Nation is a
Oh yeah.
travel channel show that has three of the guys that used to be on Ghost Hunters,
Hmm.
and I used to love Ghost Hunters as a kid. And these are like,
I used to watch Ghost Hunters all the time.
yeah, and these are Jason, who was like one of the main guys who helped create
So
Ghost
it was like
Hunters.
the bald guy, right?
The bald guy,
Yeah.
one of the other like tech guys that was a tech guy on Ghost Hunters, and some other guy who I didn't know. They left Ghost Hunters, and then now they made their own
Can't
team.
believe they left Taps, man. Mm.
They left Taps. They have their own their own new thing called like Ooper or Upo or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Um, but it's well shot. It's well edited. Um, it's Ghost Hunters. You know, like um, I would say it's better than Ghost Hunters ever
Okay.
was. Just the way they shoot it, because it's future. It's 20 years later. So like
Right.
I'm operating off of like old ass Ghost Hunters in my mind.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen Ghost Adventures yet, but I'm thinking about it.
I have not seen the infamous Ghost Adventures that Mike Stolklasa is in love with.
I, I'm I logged into my Travel Channel ID so I can watch all the episodes. So I'm
Hmm.
thinking about it at some point. There's just a lot of episodes to watch.
It's a lot, yeah.
Um, but Ghost Nation's fun. It's only 2 seasons so far. They're in the middle of the second season right now.
Okay.
I only watched like 3 episodes, 4 episodes. So
Okay.
I mean, none of it's convincing.
Yeah.
Like none of it's really convincing. But
I find a lot of stuff. Well, now, do they are they restricted like Ghost Hunters was, where they're really only doing stuff like in America? Because I remember the stuff that was more interesting to me was when they started doing like Ghost Hunter International, and they started
mm,
like doing a lot of the sites that were like actually old, that were like thousands of years old, and started
I
going to like
don't
castles and stuff like
I
that.
don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay,
Their new acronym says like it's like universal or something, like
interesting.
worldwide or something. So they might go somewhere else. I don't know yet. I don't think anywhere the first 4 episodes has been. I think it's pretty much been all in America.
Okay,
Like the first
interesting.
episode's like in Tennessee.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Interesting.
I can't see why they wouldn't go like somewhere else. And
Yeah.
it's only 3 people too. So like that's the smart thing. Like Ghost Hunters got so many people that it
Yeah, there
became
was a
like
lot
too
of people at
much.
one point.
And I think that's why people like Ghost Adventures, because it's only 3 people.
Yeah.
It's like Zach Bagans and then like his 2 guys.
It's two buddies.
And then like Ghost Nation is literally like Jason and his 2 guys.
Okay.
So I think that's why I think that's why it's succeeding so much so far. Because currently it's season two's airing right now, and
Hmm.
Ghost Hunters is up in the air. They don't
Interesting.
know what's happening. I just saw a video on the other guy's Instagram where he's like, guys, I don't know yet. No one's telling me. No one's giving me an answer if it's gonna be,
Honestly, I was surprised that Ghost Hunters was like even the possibility of still going on. I thought that was done like a long time ago.
Well, Sci-Fi canceled it,
Yeah.
and then I think A&E or History or Discovery Channel, some other channel brought it back.
Interesting.
I think that's what it was. So I'm watching Ghost Nation. We'll see if I finish that or continue that. Who knows?
Hmm.
I'm definitely more of a fan of Expedition Unknown.
That is that Bourdain?
No, that's Josh Gates.
Okay, interesting.
Did you ever watch Destination Truth back in the day?
No, I did not.
It was Sci-Fi Channel, same era as Ghost Hunters, a little bit after
Okay.
Ghost Hunters premiered. And it was like Bigfoot hunting and like chupacabra hunting and stuff like
Hell
that.
yeah.
And
Big Fun Hunters? Oh,
Josh Gates is like a paranormal investigator kind of guy. He's been on Ghost Hunters before, like a guest host kind of thing, like guest investigator.
interesting.
And his show on Discovery is called Oh my gosh, Expedition Unknown, which is like Indiana Jonesy investigations of like
Hmm.
famous, like, oh, this is haunted, this is a monster, this is a thing, this is a swamp thing, and this is a old castle and shit like
Yeah.
that. He's trying to be Indiana Jones. He dresses like Indiana Jones. He wears the fucking hat. He has the
Hell yeah!
fucking
Why would you
vest.
not, dude? Look at that fucking
Yeah,
outfit.
absolutely. So
Ugh.
I enjoy his show much, much more, but we'll see what happens. And
Okay.
lastly, the last thing I've checked out, I'm pretty sure it's the last thing you checked out,
I think so.
is the new issue of
Yes.
the new series from Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird and Tom/Tim Waltz and
Hmm.
someone else who drew it.
Dylan,
And
you
that's
son of a bitch.
the fucking TMNT Last Ronin issue number 1.
Issue number 1.
New series, 5 issues.
Is that it? Just 5 issues?
5
Okay.
issues every like 3 months.
Oh, okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Every few
It's
months.
such a long wait. I just
a-
want to get more into the story.
Yeah, a long ass wait, and it's also they shorted, IDW shorted, every store by like 20%.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because they said that's something with the printers or something like that, which I don't believe. I think they trying to manufacture hype, which they did, because people were selling the books for a lot of money.
Gotcha.
You know, so like here's an example. I went to my shop. It wasn't on my pull list because I forgot to add it to my pull list. I get there, they have no regular copies.
Damn.
The $9 copies because they're $9 because
They're $9?
they're oversized.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it also just felt really long for a first issue. I think it was like
it's
60 pages or something like that.
It's oversized. It's more magazine sized. The paper's different. The binding's different.
Okay.
So it's $9 for the regular covers, and they had none left. My shop had none.
Did you even have variants? I saw a
Okay,
couple of
so
variants.
here's the thing. My shop had 0 regular covers, but they had like 3 of the 1 in 100 variants for $30.
$30.
So this is if you buy 100 copies, you get one of these variants or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like 2 or 3 of them, and they're $30.
Jesus.
And I think the cover actually looks worse. It's a Kevin Eastman cover, which is why people like them because it's actually Kevin Eastman drawing it.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is this: IDW shorted these stores all these books, yet from what I see on the internet, every shop still got their variants.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, did you really not make the printer in time?
They're really trying to manufacture
Or
that hype.
you're trying to manufacture the hype. You don't need to. It's fucking TMNT. Just print
It's
it.
TMNT. It's a new TMNT story. It's Laird and Eastman back together. Like, hype's already there.
First time in 30 years.
Yeah, hype's already there.
I was talking to the owner of my shop, and I was like,
They were on the Toys That Made Us, and they sounded like they still hated each other.
I was talking
this
to
is big news.
the owner of my shop, and I was like, after he was telling me about how they shorted everybody, I was like, you don't think that anyone who ever thought about TMNT, who's a comic book reader, is going to buy this book? Like, they might not buy the IDW book because it's just like whatever, issue 111 or some shit. Who cares? But like, this is the first time they've been together in years, and it could be directly correlated to the original timeline.
Yeah.
So, TMNT Last Ronin number 1 of 5. Zach, what did you think? How did you feel when you read it? Impressions of the art, impressions of the story, impressions of the reveal. Spoiler alert coming up. How did you feel about Last Ronin?
Oh shit! Oh my god! I get so excited. I think I really like the art. I like the art style a lot. It reminded me a lot of the IDW. It looked like very similar to the art that they're doing for the mainline IDW series. It didn't look too terribly different. I like the story. Just in that sense, it felt very much like. I mean, it felt like a Last Ronin, like Judge Dredd, very much like Judge Dredd in tone, not in story, but in setting. It felt very Judge Dredd in setting. I'm trying to think of like, because the story's similar, I just can't pin down like what it's similar to. But that like, lone man on his quest for revenge and like nothing's gonna get in his way or anything like that. It's a story that we've seen, hundreds of times.
Oh, it's a samurai story.
Yeah, but the person that the story is being told through was the most interesting part to me, because I really didn't think it was who it was until like the actual reveal.
Right.
I thought 100% it was Leo like the whole time until like the last 3 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just made sense to me. Like the way he was acting, like he wasn't acting. Okay, this is the spoiler. He wasn't acting like Mikey, which is like, I get it, because like his personality has been changed so much because all his brothers are dead, and he's like seeing like ghosts of them like following him everywhere and like talking to him and whatnot. But even the way the other characters talked, I don't know. I mean, once you get into the fact where he's like having that flashback at the end of the issue, then you have Raph make like the one comic that actually sounds like Raph. But it felt like when they were riffing the other times, it sounded like stuff that Mikey would say, not stuff that like Raph or Donnie or Leo would say. Um, and the way he was talking and the way he was like thinking out problems or whatnot, I was like, this is how Leo would like solve problems. Like it was clearly not smart enough to be Donatello because like he wasn't really doing like tech stuff or anything like super crazy advanced like strategy wise or like thinking wise or anything like that. It was very much like, you know, as a ninja, how do I solve this problem? What do I use around me to like come up with a solution that will get me to the next goal that I need to get to, which is very much a way that like Leonardo thinks and solves problems as a ninja. I knew it wasn't Raph because he wasn't hot-headed enough. I guess because I saw some other comments from other people that have read it, and I'd never seen it, but I guess in the comics, Raph uses tonfas, which was weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen him use tonfas, but it was weird anyways that like Mikey was just carrying around tonfas. I was like, why the fuck does he have these? Like I've never seen any of them use these before. But I mean, they definitely try to throw you where it was like the first weapons that he's grabbing is like the sai and the tonfa, and I was like, okay, they're trying to make you think that it's Raph, which means it's not Raph.
Well, then he uses the katanas, and he has the stick.
He uses everything but the nunchucks.
Yeah,
everything but the nunchucks.
Yeah.
But the thing that really threw me was like it got to the point where it was like after he gets expelled from the building. I don't know how else to say it, but it gets to the point where he's like got all his weapons, like all he's got left is like each of the 4 original weapons. Then he has all of the masks, and I was like, wait, is it not either of them? Is it like Rip? Is this like old Rip that he's like shrunk down and he's like a normal sized turtle or something like that? Or not Rip? What's his name? Is it Rip? The big guy?
Slash.
I was like, is it Slash? Is like Slash like shrunken down and is like just a normal sized turtle or something? But no, it was Mikey.
Well, I think that. So I agree.
The masks really threw me.
I like the art a lot. I like the setting a lot. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people complain about the not enough world building from the get go, like how they got there, which I don't care about because I know we're
come later.
We're gonna get there.
Clearly, that's probably going to be like the whole second issue because he's got this whole flashback stuff already happening. So
that didn't bother me. I enjoyed how they characterized the world. I enjoy how they characterized him, like in terms of like physicality. Like he's not a small turtle. He is like
he's a big guy now.
This is like adult, like yoked turtle, right? Which is very 90s, very 90s, late 80s TMNT where like as they get older they get big. They're not like they don't stay small. Like they get big. They get bulky. I really enjoyed the samurai-esque spirituality factor of like. I was reading going like, okay, are they in his head or are they actually spirits? Because like, TMNT always flirts with that line of like,
especially with IDW TMNT, they flirt really hard between like realistic and like leaning heavily into the supernatural.
So it's like I couldn't tell, and obviously I think that we'll get there. Like, in the end reveal of April being there, being like, "Who are you talking to?" makes me think it's in his head. But at the same time, like, why? It's they're ghosts that are related to him, so maybe because they're familiar, they're family. Maybe that's why only he can talk to the spirits. Who knows if they're actually ghosts or not? So
maybe, but I would also consider, I don't know, if you're coming at it with that line of logic, I would consider, especially the way they write her, I would consider April to basically be a member of that family. So the fact that like, if you're coming at it from that angle of logic, I would assume that she would be able to see them too, because
I don't think so because they're all twins.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I don't think like because you could why if that's the case why wasn't Splinter there?
Yeah,
I think it's because they're twins. They were all born in the same batch. They're literally brothers.
I really think it's all in his head.
So I don't think I feel like they're going to be ghosts. I think they're going to be spirits because of how much trauma he's gone through and like It could be in his head, and it
See,
can
but
make sense to
that's
me.
why I think it's all in his head, because I
I
think
think it would
the
be
loss of all of them is like
to
psychologically
me.
shook him
I
so
think that
much.
would be lame because he was acting very rational.
Yeah.
Like everything he did was very rational and not erratic.
Mm,
He approached every obstacle the way that his brothers would approach them.
I would say that, but then I would say he was more erratic in like the one track thinking that he has of just going to kill Karai's son, which I mean, we'll get more of that later, but I still don't understand like what the fuck's going on with all that shit. And like Karai's like in cryostasis or something like that. I don't know. It's very
I don't think
confusing.
that's one track. I think that's he's waited years.
Yeah,
He's waited and saw the world or whatever, saw the city become destroyed. He had
but then
nothing
it would also
left.
get to the point of like, I want to know why it took years to get to this point.
He's probably because he's Mikey. He's probably hiding, dealing with grief. It's the same thing with like you play Ghost of Tsushima. How come the first thing Ghost of Tsushima happens is he goes right to the fucking castle to fight the fucking Mongolian guy from the get go? He goes right to the boss.
Yeah, and
You know
then
what I mean? And
he gets whipped.
gets his ass kicked. Same thing happens to
Yeah, but
fucking
this
Mikey.
happens here, and he waited years, and he
Same
still
thing
got
happens
his
to
ass
Mikey.
whipped.
But it's because he's new technology. He's also old. So to me, I would rather it be like ghosts than a crazy. Because to me, it would invalidate. I would like that they're watching over him. 'Cause, like when he's going to kill himself, they say you don't have to do that. And to me, that makes it more meaningful if they're actually there, being like, you don't have to do this, brother. Like you could still live. And like the heartbreaking part of the thing, I thought was a really well written panel that hit me really hard. It was like when he's like laying out all the items,
Yeah.
and he's like, I miss my brothers like so much, and like that's something that like Mikey would say, like
Yeah.
Leo would say that, and they all would say that in some sense. But when I'm reading it through the lens of like, okay, this is the way Mikey would say it, like they give you hints throughout the whole thing that's Mikey. Like he's doing all the fucking he's doing the parkour, and he's like, this is what I'm good at. Like
Yeah.
that's what Mikey does. He's like he's a parkour guy.
Well, that, and I guess somebody pointed this out, and I didn't really recognize it as I was reading it, but I guess all of his thought bubbles are all orange.
Right.
And so that's kind of like the other hint that it's Mikey, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I would have been happy with. Like I'm a Leo fan. That's my particular favorite turtle.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been happy if it was him because it would have been too easy.
I'm trying to think.
Because he would have waited.
The one that I
years.
always lean towards is Raph. Probably just because I was an impetulant child.
Well, it's like those
but...
two guys wouldn't have waited a long time.
No.
They would have gone right away.
It wouldn't have made no sense if it was Raph, because yeah, Raph wouldn't have waited. Raph would have been
Right.
like, all right, I'm going for revenge right now.
And
like,
Leo,
I don't care if I die, I'm going for revenge.
Leo would just go as well. So like, it had to be Donnie or Mikey because it would be a character change. And Mikey makes the most sense, and he's having to adapt his skill set to become the ninja who cares more, because he was always the one who cared least.
Yeah.
So the fight scenes were well done. It was this huge chase scene, the whole issue.
Yeah.
And then seeing whatever his name is, Karai's son,
Hojo, I think.
Hiroki. Is it Hiroki?
Oroku Saki something. I thought it was like Hojo Oroku Saki.
I don't know. But
No, Oroku is the last name.
Either way, like
It's like Hojo
he reminds me of like Adam Driver.
Yeah, he looks very much like a Kylo Ren. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm curious, man. Like he has to die at the end of the series. Not him.
Who, Mikey?
Mikey's gonna die for sure, and I assume so will Karai's son. But like Mikey's for sure dying because that's the best way to end it.
Yeah.
Or I guess flip flop, it could be peace with your life and continue on after the world is saved.
Yeah.
Old samurai like living in the fucking wilderness.
That would just be, I don't know. I prefer him to die. I think
dying would be better.
Because at that point, I don't know. I couldn't see Mikey as like a master splinter that just like meditates and like is peaceful. I don't know. Especially when it's like,
some would say he's the most likely to do that because he likes hanging out and just relaxing and eating pizza and.
I don't know, but at this character change point where it's like, he's got possible the ghosts of his family that are like always watching over him as whatnot. I mean, like, I don't know. You would say he's the most laid back, but I would also say like he's the one that like is the least likely to do well alone. like he thrives on being in other people's company, and like, you know, I mean,
Well,
as
it's a character
of all of
change.
them, I think he's the biggest one that like I would think he's the one that cares most about the bond with his brothers from the
Sure.
aspect of like, I don't know, I just always feel like, you know, Leo was the one with the duty, but Mikey was always the one that was like, you know, family before anything else
Well,
and
so
stuff.
okay, he
I don't
he
know.
he he wins the battle, saves the city. His brothers are at peace now with their death because they were murdered or whatever happens to them,
Yeah.
and he is an adult. He can like he's not a teenager anymore, so he can grow up and he can like they tell him, hey, live your life. You know, we'll see you soon. And live out the rest of your days doing whatever the fuck you want to do, hanging out with Casey Jones's daughter, whoever the fuck that is. Like, that could be well written because he's already doing what Mikey doesn't do.
Yeah.
He's already there. Now, what happened between the deaths of the turtles, and if that was all at once or it's different times, whatever, because whatever.
They kind of make it seem like it happened all at once.
That's the way my impression is, and happened to
That's
me.
the way I interpreted the writing that they did in this issue. So
So I can see him living and it still being perfectly fine because he's an adult. You know, I can't imagine him like, oh, my brothers are dead, my family's dead, I'm just gonna like die. Like he was gonna do it out of
he almost killed himself this issue.
He's gonna out of dishonor though. So if he
Yeah.
succeeds in the mission, and Splinter comes to him and is like, "My son, live your life," you don't think he's gonna be like, "Yeah, you're right."
What's the over under that Splinter does come to him?
Oh, 100%. It's not even a question. He's gonna come, in some sense, in some way. Maybe he's gonna be fucking like knocked the fuck out, like fucking Rocky style, and he's gonna hear his voice or something. It's gonna happen, you know. I can see it either way because it's a samurai story, and those both happen in samurai stories. They die or they survive. It happens in samurai stories all the time, you know. So I can see it being both ways, and to have it could be happy endings either way. But the truly happy ending would be like April's still alive, unless she dies in the story. You know, like if Casey Jones's daughter, if that's actually his daughter, well then why wouldn't Mikey want to stay alive and be with friends? He could still have an enjoyable life. That's the course that they want to write it.
Yeah.
So I could see it either way, as long as it's not like some bullshit like half-assed like, oh, we beat Osaki or whatever, and then I become the Foot Clan leader. Okay, well that's fucking lame.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That would be lame. I wouldn't want that at all.
But the idea of having to wait 8 months.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Real shit right now. Okay. What is the possibility that we see like Bebop and Rocksteady?
I think very low.
I kind of want
very
like
low.
souped up like versions of like Bebop and Rocksteady.
They showed no mutants.
Part cyborg Bebop and Rocksteady.
Like they showed no mutants in that city.
Yeah, no. They didn't.
I would assume like in the
robots.
future they would have had a bunch and they didn't show any.
I guess because I guess Hbo makes that or whatever his name is makes the statement that he killed all of them.
Mutants suck, so like they're not going to be around.
Yeah. At least not in that city.
Or if they're there, they're going to be all underground, the smaller. Maybe that's where Mikey was living, like a mutant city or something. Who knows? Because then you have like the frogs, and you have all the other characters that are mutants that could be around. So, I don't know. It could be. I can go either way. They really didn't give us enough story in the first issue to kind of like point me in any direction. Besides the fact that we have April, and then we have Mikey, and we have Casey Jones's potential daughter.
What was her name in that?
They just called her Jones.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Again, in the original comic book, Jones has a kid, so it could potentially tie to that. You know, could tie to whatever. So, and the way that they draw them in the '90s is very big, very buff, and clearly Mikey's very big, very buff.
Very big, yeah.
Very big, So it can go either way. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm not expecting like any sort of like groundbreaking work, because remember, ultimately at the end of the day, it's still a book that is a parody of Daredevil. So, and obviously it's great. I love TMNT, but I'm not gonna act like this is gonna be fucking Seven Samurai. It would be rad if it was like Seven Samurai. It'd be even radder if this book had Yojimbo in it, because Stan Sakai and Kevin Eastman are best friends, or like really good friends, and they've done a lot of crossovers. It'd be really fucking cool if I don't know how you fit it in, but it'd be really sweet if like at some point like so dead picture, like a drawing of like Yojimbo on there. I don't know. It'd be rad because he's a samurai character. So
yeah,
that's the Last Ronin, man.
Yeah.
Anything else, Zach, you want to say or theorize before we move on?
No, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm good.
Okay.
I just can't wait another 3 months, dude. I want
it's like 2 months. Now. Yeah, I think it's December.
Okay, well that's not too bad, I guess. I don't know.
Late December, maybe January, something like. There's the release schedule's out. I just can't remember what it is.
I mean, I get it because like, they're big books, and I mean that was like a pretty hefty first issue, even though we didn't really get a whole lot. I mean, I still feel like I don't know how many pages it felt like it was like 60 pages. Like it felt like a pretty beefy book.
I feel like you should just have it done before you start publishing. I would have rather read it.
No comic does that though.
I would have rather read it in a graphic novel, personally.
Yeah, I think I would prefer to read it all at once.
Dude, if you don't think that when Saga comes back, they're gonna have so many in the tank.
Is Saga on hiatus again?
It's been on hiatus for like 3 years. 2 years. Yeah. They. From what I understand,
I think 3 or 4 years ago, I caught up to it and was reading it.
They took a.
I don't know. It wasn't that good when I was.
They took like a purposeful break. Like they wanted to take a break on purpose. Because they were pumping them out.
Yeah. When I remember where I left off was stuff with their daughter, which I don't know. I didn't really like. I really don't like their daughter that much. She was like kidnapped or something like that. I don't know. It wasn't
they're still on hiatus. 2018.
What issue did they leave off on?
54.
Is that it?
54 issues.
That's it?
Well, usually 60 issues is usually a full run. The entire series.
I felt like I read more than that.
It says the entire series will run 108 issues. So like when it comes back, whenever it does, they would be dumb not to have like the rest just done. Like hiatus, but still take a break every now and then, but also like get them in the can. That way you don't have to work at all. You just fucking gotta put them out. Like to me, that's what I would have done if I was Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
You see, they started filming for what's it called? Why the Last Man.
I didn't see that.
They started filming for Why the Last Man.
Are they going to stop filming next week when they decide that they're going to delay it for some reason again?
I don't know, but I can't remember what the article said, but it was a Collider article, and it was like, Why the Last Man starts filming, and it has female-centric writing staff or something like that.
I mean, it is a female-centric story.
And I was thinking, like, yeah, but it's written by a guy.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Like, it doesn't matter who writes it as long as the writing is good.
I mean, I don't know why.
Because the story is good.
Yeah, I mean, really at this point, you don't really need to write it. You just need to adapt it to television.
Just adapt it. Maybe you could change a little bit of the fucking dialogue if you want to. But other than that, it's good. It's good as it is. We know it's good.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's solid. That's why you're making a movie out of it, or a show out of it.
Yeah.
Did
they change cast again?
As we move into the next segment, Zach, I don't know how to describe the topic because we have a couple news things here if we want to talk about them, but let's hit the topic of the show first.
Okay.
I think, but I don't know how to describe it. Since it was your idea, you should help me out and break it down for me if you can.
I broke down the topic and I don't really remember specifically what I wrote down. I remember the basic premise that I had was, what is your favorite like Halloween-centric like group or family? Right. Was like kind of like what I was thinking in my mind. Like some sort of group of people or like a family or like some sort of like collective that is like around the mood of Halloween.
Right.
Something like that.
I understood it.
Something similar to that.
Right, and I get it. I just didn't know how to put it into words. But with that being said, since it's your topic and it's it's a really hard topic to like put into finite words.
Yes.
I want you to tell me your answer and what came to the conclusion of your pick for the final Halloween topic of favorite Halloween spooky centric team or ensemble of characters or family
Yes.
related to occult stuff or paranormal or stuff.
Yes. That is 100% exactly what the topic is. It was really hard. I had a couple of groups that I was like juggling in my head. I mean, as soon as I thought of the topic, I had like the main three that I like came
Yeah.
down to, which is like, Scooby-Doo,
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters, Adam's Family, maybe a little bit of
Monsters.
Munsters,
Yeah.
Um, but really what it comes down to is, for me, it's got to be Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Gotta be Scooby Gang. And the
So
reason that I thought of it
you
was
went real vanilla bread.
I went real vanilla bread because for me, I thought of it and I was like, what would be the group that was like, if it was in real life, I'd want to like hang around with this group and like do stuff with them. And I was like, yeah, I want to be in like the mystery machine. I want to like solve mysteries. I want to have Daphne tell me that I'm like the coolest dude ever, and I want her to teach me kung fu.
You just want to hang out with Daphne.
I want to hang out with Daphne. Actually, honestly, I want to hang out with Velma.
Wow.
She got the brains, dude.
Wow, you want that brain. Okay.
She got good brains, man.
So are we talking like, is there an incarnation of Scooby-Doo that you prefer over the other incarnations? Because I have my personal preference, personally.
I think my personal preference is What's New Scooby-Doo.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I think that's the one that I always go back to. And for me, because that was the one, when I was a kid, that was the one that was always on Cartoon Network, because that was the one they were airing at the time. It's also the one that all the movies are based around. And I like all the movies a lot. Because What's New Scooby-Doo that's Zombie Island. That's Zombie. No, what's the one with the witches?
Oh, I don't know what one's called.
I can't remember. But it's the witches and then Cyber Chase, which are like the three main Scooby-Doo movies. But it's fun, man. I mean, I like the group a lot. I would also love to just be Shaggy and just eat shit constantly because I love to do that anyways. I could just imagine like being with Shaggy and Scooby and just like going to a restaurant and just like destroying any inventory that they have. It's just a super fun group, and I feel like it'd be a great time to just like hang out with them and like do mystery machine shit,
The Also, I don't think the movies are based off What's New Scooby-Doo.
Are they not?
Just because of timing.
I feel like it was around the same time as What's New Scooby-Doo. Was it not?
What's New Scooby-Doo came out in 2002. Zombie Island was like 98, 99 or something like that.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I know Cyber Chase is.
But for sure, did you ever watch the series from like 2010 called Mystery Incorporated?
I didn't.
It was really good. It was very adult, very dark, like super like much darker. It was very psyche where they had a bunch of homages to like other Halloween stuff or other spooky stuff. More drama, more like teenage drama. It was a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably my favorite incarnation of the Scooby-Doo stuff, besides the originals. But honestly, my tippity top number one is Pup Named Scooby-Doo, man. That's my favorite.
Pup Named Scooby-Doo is good stuff, man.
That's my favorite. That's the one I would watch all the time. Yeah. That's my favorite one.
I would agree with that. Pup Named Scooby-Doo is good stuff.
I'm surprised you picked something as mainstream as Scooby-Doo as your top pick for favorite spooky Halloween occult team family ensemble. I tried to avoid when I was looking for my favorite thing of like whatever the fuck that is called. Mm-hmm. I have tried to avoid the Busters and Scooby and Munsters and Addams Family. I tried to avoid that because those are easy picks. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So I wanted to go back in my mind, and I was really so confused as to what the topic was, like what qualified to be in the topic. Like in this whatever, like in the realm of it. So I was like, okay, does Mulder and Scully count? Because like they're like,
I would count Mulder.
They're
and
a
Scully.
team, and that's like, I was like, okay, maybe Mulder and Scully. All right, okay, that's cool.
Okay.
I was like, but then my mind kept pulling me to something else. It kept pulling me to a different team. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? I'm like, my mind's going crazy, and I remembered. Martin Mystery.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Martin Mystery
I do
is
not
my
know
favorite
what you're talking about right now.
spooky, occult, paranormal, supernatural, occult ensemble team of
Jason, you can't
investigators.
just make stuff up for the topic, Jason. Now
The
hold
fact
on.
that you have never seen Martin Mystery, or you don't remember Martin Mystery, because you've seen Martin Mystery.
Huh.
Martin
I have
Mystery.
never seen the show in my whole
Martin
life.
Mystery is a show based on an Italian horror paranormal comic book called Martin Mystery.
Okay.
And he's pretty much Dresden, Constantine. Did you ever watch the movie Dylan Dog?
I think I did.
So Dylan Dog is an Italian comic book of a paranormal investigator who deals with paranormal stuff.
I see a lot of similar themes going on.
And Martin Mystery is pretty much the same kind of character. Just came out like 8 years before that. Like 70s comic books, horror comics in Italy. Dylan Dog, Martin Mystery are very similar. And they're both like Constantine-y kind of characters. They don't really have magic much, but they I've only read so much because they're in Italian. There's only so many that are translated into English. But Martin Mystery is a blonde guy who is a horror.
He looks like a straight up generic Shonen Jump anime character.
So they made the show. It's a Canadian show. They aired it on Nickelodeon.
2003 to 2006, French, Italian, Canadian animated television.
But it was on Nickelodeon.
I see 4Kids on here, which is why I feel like I should have watched it, but I didn't.
They aired it on Nickelodeon, some teen block on Nickelodeon.
It looks like they aired it on every single Cartoon Network.
So maybe it was Cartoon Network. They aired it on some block. And so when they adapted it to TV for kids, they kind of took away that entire like character model. Like he's not like he's an investigator of paranormal stuff, but he's not like a super he's not an adult. He's a teenager. He has a team with him. He's a girlfriend kind of character, which she's in the comic book, but like not super involved. He's not wearing a suit. He's wearing a flame shirt.
He's wearing the Guy Fieri outfit.
So he's still blonde, and he's more of a goofball. And this show,
actually, more than I think about it, he just looks like Guy Fieri.
This show is awesome. It's awesome.
It looks dope.
It is Scooby-Doo.
I think I did watch this because I just saw an image that sparked something in my brain. Not the show, but I watched an episode with him in it because he was in a crossover with Totally Spies.
Yeah, I believe so.
And, I mean, I watched every single episode of Totally Spies, so there's no reason I shouldn't recognize this character. Because Totally Spies is an amazing show.
This show is amazing. It's the forgotten show that people forget about for some reason. And there was talks of Netflix potentially doing a season 4 years ago. It's a show that has gone by the wayside, except for people like me who remember the small things of pop culture that no one else gives a shit about, much like Big Wolf on Campus and stuff like that. These shows are shows that I cared about as a child. And this is my favorite team ensemble, occult, supernatural, paranormal, team, family, unit, investigative body. This is my pick for that.
Gotcha.
It's really good. It holds up. You should watch it, Zach, or at least watch an episode.
I'm trying to, but I can't figure out where I can watch it at.
Yeah. Then they never released it on DVD.
No.
Just watch episode 1. It's on YouTube, I think.
Okay.
But it's really good, and it's Scooby-Doo. Like, it's Scooby-Doo.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm just looking at this, and now it just makes me want to watch Totally Spies. That's honestly, because I saw Totally Spies, and now I just want to go back and rewatch Totally Spies. So.
Okay, real quick, tangent. Real quick.
Yes.
Which one is your fave?
Of the Totally Spies?
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta look up their names, because I can't remember their names.
Sam, Alex,
and
Blossom? Clover?
Sam, Alex, and Clover. I'm
a Sam guy.
I think Alex was always my favorite.
I'm a Sam guy, man.
Yeah, I could get that.
I'm always a Sam guy.
Honestly, I thought you would have been a Clover, because I thought you were always big for the Sundaries.
That's the black-haired one, right?
No, Clover's the blonde.
What's a tsundere?
That's the girl that's like mean to you, but she likes you and all that stuff. I thought you were a fan of the Mean Girls.
I like the girls who are mean, who are just mean.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Those are my anime waifus. Like, I don't want those. There's no interior love. You're just mean.
Just Asuka. You're just Asuka.
Who's that again? Oh, from Ava.
Ava. Yeah.
Does she not have like an interior? I've never seen Ava.
The end of Ava, she just basically calls Shinji a piece of shit, which he is, and then he masturbates on.
I've only seen half of the show, and I've only seen the first two movies, like the first two rebuild or whatever the fuck.
Oh.
So I don't know. Is she like not like a nice person?
I mean, in the rebuild, she's definitely not. She calls Shinji a piece of shit and thinks he destroyed the world, and then tries to kill him. So.
Okay. Well, then yeah.
Yeah.
That's my style.
That's your style. No, I was a big Alex fan. I remember fan of Tan Girls, and
okay, hold on.
She was the most athletic out of all of them. So.
Right. Well, let me pull on the recesses of your brain. From, did you watch this on ABC Family?
Totally Spies? No, yeah. I watched it on Magoozy, which was the teen block for Cartoon Network.
So you didn't even watch it on the Prime channel that it was on.
No, I didn't.
As a kid.
I watched it. I didn't watch a lot of ABC Family when I was a kid, except for. I'm trying to remember what ABC Family shows I watched. I can't remember.
Bro, this is what shows me, and we're only a year apart.
Yeah.
Not even really a year. We're probably like, because when's your birthday?
The 28th of December.
And I'm February 11th, so we're like less than a year apart.
Yeah.
But it shows me just how much more TV I watch than everybody I know. Like, it shows me how much my parents didn't care because they were not home.
Yeah.
Like, they were at work or my dad was deployed or something, so I just had so much free time to just watch TV all day, every fucking day.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that I watched TV shows on Fox Family before it became ABC Family.
Yeah.
But so, like, ABC Family had Totally Spies, and they played it all the time, and they would play it with, like, Braceface.
I remember Braceface, sort of. I remember the name. I never watched Braceface.
What was the show called? It was they did a trailer or a mini short before the Digimon movie. It was the Anaconda show. It was a paper, like South Parky style cartoon show. It was called like God, what was it called? Something Anaconda. ABC Family Anaconda show.
Make sure you don't pull up a Nicki Minaj by mistake.
Angela Anaconda.
Angela Anaconda?
Yeah, it was a show that they played on.
I never heard of that in my whole life.
What?
These are not real things.
What are you talking about? Yes, dude. Angela
These are not
Anaconda.
real things that you're looking up.
Yes, Angela Anaconda. They played it on. They did a full short before Digimon the movie. It was a Fox Family show. You know, yes, dude. I can name off the top of the dome so many fucking shows.
Honestly, I remember this show vaguely now. Looking at the art style. I never watched it because the characters look like nightmare fuel.
Listen, man.
They have like real faces put onto like cartoon bodies.
Yes. Angela Anaconda, Braceface, Sabrina the cartoon show, Archie, the horror Archie show. I mentioned before Sherlock Holmes in the 21st Century, whatever the fuck the show is called. There are so many of these great shows. Did you? And I remember mentioning.
I remember watching Sabrina the animated series.
Like, did you ever watch fucking the Nickelodeon show The Journey of Alan Strange?
I don't think so.
Dude, fucking fantastic show. But an alien.
I don't think I ever watched it.
He's a black guy who's an alien.
Oh, that's groundbreaking.
And he comes to Earth to like just he's like trapped there or something.
Huh. Well, isn't that basically didn't they have a show like that on Disney Channel? That was what? Phil from the Future.
He's from the future though. He's not.
Yeah, but it's the same concept. He's like stuck in the past. He can't get anywhere, and then he's like trying to like fish out of water.
Even funnier is like so many of the really popular shows that kids our age watched. I never watched, but it's the fucking like small, like foreign imported shows I watched.
Super niche stuff.
So like everyone watched SpongeBob. I have never seen a full episode of SpongeBob in my life. I thought it was so dumb and stupid. I thought it was just a stupid ass show that I remember when I was a young kid, one of my friends was watching it. I was like, why the fuck are you watching this stupid ass show? Turn the channel and let's watch some fucking Braceface.
Look, we gotta get on Martin Mystery. We've got to
watch the Martin Mystery.
Yeah.
Now remember, Martin
Mystery. Watch Men in Black, the animated series.
Men in Black, the animated series. RoboCop, the animated series. You have to turn on WB Kids
We have to
WB.
watch the latest episode of Yu-Gi-Oh because they're in the Dual City tournament.
This is even
and
before
the
that.
It's got to go down.
This is before that. You know, this is like some real shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up the Fox Family cartoons list, and there is just some bangers, man.
There's
The fact that
stuff.
people
we gotta
forgot.
watch Duel Masters because we gotta watch the latest knockoff of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, there you go. But like seriously, I there's so many times. Remember, even like with our group of friends, we talk about cartoon shows that we liked as a kid, like cartoons, and they were like, "Yeah, I loved Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends."
I did like Foster's.
What?
The movie made me cry.
Never seen that show before.
Foster's is a great show.
Never seen that show. Or people were like, "Yeah, I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog." Never seen it.
Hold on, you've never seen Courage?
I've seen like an episode here or there, but I've never like watched the show. I don't like it. Ed and Eddie, never cared.
I love Ed and Eddie.
Never cared about it. You know,
Ben 10? Ben Tenner?
Never watched it.
Ben 10's not that good.
I know what it's about. I know that it's about a kid who has like a
It's
fucking
an interesting
watch.
concept, but they run out of ideas really, really fast.
It's a guy who has the watch who can turn into like other aliens, right?
Yeah. He's supposed to be able to turn in like 1,000 aliens. He can only turn into like 10 for like 2 seasons, and then they finally started like giving him more aliens.
That's a long running ass show, man.
Yeah, well
it's still going.
Well, they've got the original, and yeah, then they changed it to he's like, because he started off as a kid, and then they realized that like they couldn't keep doing stuff with that, so then they changed it into he's like a young adult, and his like sister's like a magician or some shit like that.
I think they're rebooted it though. I think it's a whole new.
Oh, they
reboot.
rebooted it again?
Yeah, I think it's a whole new universe now.
Oh my god.
But like shows like this, Action Man, loved it. Loved Kong the animated series, Godzilla the animated series, NASCAR Racers.
I remember Godzilla.
NASCAR Racers.
That was the shit where it was basically Speed Racer, right?
I mean, they were like a team of NASCAR racers, and they would like save people and they would like save people and shit.
What are you? They fucking Rescue Rangers going on? They would like what the hell's going on?
They would like drive their car, I believe, into like a bigger car.
I remember that. I think I remember watching this because I remember that they had like ridiculous tracks that were based on whatever toy track was currently out.
Did you ever watch Max Steel?
I feel like I did.
Max Steel was my jam, dude. This is like 2000s prime time.
Max Steel.
CG show, super spy, young man becomes a fucking machine, cyborg man. Loved it.
I don't think I did. The design of the character doesn't look familiar to me.
Dude, this is prime time, man.
Hold on. WP
so
Kids
many good shows from this early era of like the 2000s.
Dude, the Jackie Chan Adventures was some good
Great
shit.
show. Great show.
I love Jackie Chan Adventures.
When I look back at my childhood, like these are the shows I think about.
Well, the ones that come to my head are Jackie Chan, Teen Titans. I mean, it's fair, the mainstream stuff. Jackie Chan, Teen Titans, Static Shock. Let's see.
Static Shock was big for me.
Static Shock was big.
Teen Titans.
Challenge Showdown was, it was not bad.
Teen Titans was big for me.
Teen Titans was huge.
It was definitely the first thing I saw of creepy old people making really bad animations that I should have see when I was young.
Yeah.
That's definitely the first thing I ever saw of like things that I shouldn't see on websites.
Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond's great, yeah.
Let's see.
There's good shit, man.
Yeah. There was good stuff back in the day.
Well, again, that's my favorite Halloween themed team of occult supernatural ensemble. Real quick, as we end the show,
yes,
there are a couple things that we want to mention in some quick news dump, real fast.
Yes.
Zach, what did you want to hit on?
Cyberpunk broke our hearts yet again.
Yeah.
It's not coming out until December 10th now? Some shit? I don't know.
It's 21 days from the last posted release date.
I think the last posted one, it was supposed to come out the 17th. So that sounds right. Like the 10th, something like that. We had this argument over text.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's we didn't have the argument of it's super fucked up that they did this, and it makes no sense. Their reasoning makes no sense as to like why they're doing this. Um, and I've seen people try to defend them, and I'm like, I don't understand like how you can defend this because
Yeah.
this isn't even a matter of like crunch anymore. This is a matter of just like guys went gold. Like once you go gold, you shouldn't be delaying anymore. Like that doesn't make logically it makes no sense. Like gold means the game's done. Like it just needs to be printed.
Yeah. And they were saying it was because of console issues with playback or whatever.
I don't believe them.
But you went gold. You said you're going gold. You made a big post about going gold. You
told somebody the day before that it was definitely coming out November 17th.
You said also before that, weeks before that, this is it. No more delays.
No more delays. We're done with delays.
Day before, someone asks you about the finalization because they're trying to get time off.
Yeah.
They're like,
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
It's gonna happen.
And here's the thing.
Take the whole week off.
Here's the thing. I want to clarify my stance on this real quick.
Yeah.
Do I think it's bad business? 100%. It's terrible. It's terrible PR. It's terrible business. It's a bad decision.
Well, it just looks bad.
It looks terrible
from any aspect. It looks really bad.
There are people who are like so upset that they're like sending threats to the developers like individually, and that's fucking dumb. Yeah. And on the other side of it, there's people who are like talking down to the people who took time off of work to play the game, and now they can't get their time back. That Twitter feed of them saying that the delay, there are people being like, guys, this is the second time I take time off, I can't get it back, and people are responding to them being like, that's your fault if you're taking time off for play a game. That's fucking stupid. And it's like,
it's what time off is for. It's for you to do stuff that you want to do.
So there's a lot of people who are saying that sentiment to these people who try to take time off to play this game, which I've known a lot of people who've done this. Yeah. I took time off to buy this game.
Yeah.
Like the first time.
I've never done it for a game before, but like if I was going to do it for one, it would have been for Cyberpunk.
I mean, I know people who took days off to play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like to get Call of Duty midnight release and play it all day. I know people do that in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So the people who are messaging people getting mad, like the developers, that's stupid. But on the same side, the people who are saying that people took time off to play a game, like the developer, CD Projekt Red, responded in these tweets being like, we apologize, people who are willing to take off time of work to play our games a really big, compliment. And it fucking is.
It is a huge compliment.
It's a huge compliment.
If you're taking, the limited amount of vacation hours you have to play a game, that says a lot. Because we don't have unlimited vacation hours.
Not only are we willing to use our PTO or non-PTO, but then also spend money. And then time to play the game. Now, I understand delay 1. I understand delay 2. I do not understand delay 3. Much like last week, I do not understand delay 3. I can understand Ghostbusters. I can understand Batman. Because those are movies.
Yeah.
You have to go somewhere to watch them.
Yeah.
I do not understand a video game. When you said we were gold.
Yeah.
When you said we were gold and then you came back around and then said there's no more delays, and then you said no more delays, and then there's a delay.
Logically, there shouldn't be any more delays because you're gold. That means gold means it's off to the printers.
This is part of the inherent problem that we've talked about for years of announcing shit too early.
Yeah.
This would not be an issue. I would not give a fuck if you never told me that first April date.
Yeah.
If you just said coming soon, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out. I've been waiting 8-10 years for this shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of giving me a date, scratching that out, give me another date. And I wait patiently. And people pre-order this shit, man. People fucking bought the fucking big-ass pre-order set.
Yeah, people bought that Legacy Edition or whatever. Comes with the statue and all that shit that's like $300.
Yeah, and people are like, can I get my money back? Because this is bullshit. I'd be fucking pissed too, man. And the idea that there's people out there being like, I don't see why you're mad. Take your time. Hey, get off your fucking high horse. You holier than thou.
Well, I listened to it this week, but I guarantee you that's what Wooly's going to say. He's like, take it whatever time you mean. No. Fuck you. No, there's a point where it's like, it doesn't make any sense anymore. It doesn't make sense anymore. It just doesn't.
implications for me as a fatalist person who, if you go gold, make a big post about it, and then say twice, no more delays, and then you delay, that makes me think your game's gonna fucking suck. Because you're not ready. You weren't ready the last 3 times. You weren't ready the last 5 times. And now when you say you're ready, you still aren't ready. Which makes me think this game, my expectations for this game were low, and then you brought them really high, and now they're low again. Which is probably best for the best, but also it makes me worry that when I put the game in on day 1, whenever the fuck that is, it's actually going to be trash. Because you don't even know what you have, and you go gold. You don't even fucking know. You didn't even fucking whatever the issue is that they say they have. You didn't even fucking find that out.
This out before you went gold, for sure.
Stop trying to appease people. Make your game, because all you're doing is making people get more pissed. This is not me or you, but there are definitely people. Now this would happen to me because I've done it before for other things. I will just not play or buy something if it's so annoying. And Cyberpunk is definitely 100% closing in on that mark. And that sounds like unbelievable, but it's the fucking truth. It's very close to me being like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care anymore. Maybe I'll play it in 3 years when it's cheap. That's the kind of shit. I didn't watch basketball at all this season for a reason. I was like, you know what? I'm good. I haven't watched a single game of NFL this season. I'm a huge sports fan because of shit that's happening. Or baseball or hockey. I chose, you know what? I'm good. I'll take a break this season.
You watch golf?
I watch golf.
Golf is so boring to watch.
This game is coming really close to territory of me being like, I'm good. I'll see what people say, and then play it in a year. Because this is just bad business. It's bad marketing. Because remember,
I'm definitely not as hyped to get it on day 1. I'll see what the reviews say.
Absolutely, and that's the sad part. Is I'll see what reviews say. Because we were so hyped. We've been hyped for this game for 6 months to a year. You can go
Longer
back.
than a year.
You can go back and listen to the podcast of us being super hyped for E3
it's been longer than that.
And all this shit.
That first, what was it? Because the first big thing was the 60-minute demo that they put out. And that shit was when I was back living with my old roommate, which was over a year and a half ago now.
But we have episodes of us talking about everything new we talk about on this podcast. Everything Cyberpunk we come out and we talk about. And to just be slapped in the face over and over again, and it's not personal, obviously. We understand that. But at what point do you just stop getting punched in the face? At some point you have to put your hands up and go, you know what? Fuck it.
I'm bowing out.
Because obviously we're very excited for this game, and I have the action figures right over my fucking shoulder. I'm hyped for the game, and you're hyped for the game. But when the developer wants to just lie, remember, this is a business. So it's not people are like, oh, take your time. No, listen, I am the reason you have a business. This is the transaction agreement we have between each other. You make something, I give you money. Right? If you're going to consistently lie to the consumer, well, then you don't deserve their money. So what are you changing? If you already have went gold, what are you changing? Are you going to go gold twice? Or are you going to make a big-ass update for day 1 that when I put the game in the fucking Xbox...
I might as well just walk away from it.
The new Xbox that we're going to try and get...
Or
am I going to have to wait fucking 8 hours?
Honestly, this might be better, though, because now I don't have to try to get an Xbox on day 1. Now I can wait a month, and maybe they'll be back in stock. So maybe it's better for that, at least. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Because now I'm not forced to get an Xbox Series S in 2 weeks.
And it's sad because now you're like that. Now you're in that... We went from being we have to get an Xbox or PS5 within the week. And now we're like this.
Now I can wait.
That's you're tempering your own hype, which is not good. Which is not good, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh
totally.
well, man. What's this Final Fantasy thing, dude? I didn't see
Dude,
this. What is
they
this?
dumped out a bunch of stuff. So basically, um, it's super
Beat 'em
dope.
up, guys.
They
Go
gave
for
a lot of
broke.
basically a lot of world building was dumped out. The developers also said that they're not even start working on the game until like 2021,
Oh
which
my
I guess
God.
makes
Jesus
I mean, we're
Christ.
almost at 2021, but
Jesus
I mean, these are the
Christ.
same. They're the same developers that they're working on Final Fantasy. They're the Final Fantasy 14. It's the same development crew, so they're working on the number
Why?
one.
Why did you give us a trailer for a game you haven't even started working on yet?
Yeah, I know it's the same problem we just had with
Same
Cyberpunk.
problem we just had.
But they got a lot of cool world building stuff. They went over all of the different like kingdoms and whatnot that are in this world that they have coming out. Um, Basically, the whole world is centered around like these 5 or 6 different kingdoms that fight over these crystal powers and whatnot. Um, I don't want to go through a summary of each one because that's honestly, I mean, it's like, it's the factions kind of stuff. There's the one that's like inherently good, one that's like, inching towards being bad. There's one that's like the center of all these problems and whatnot. But we also got character dump information. So we got the names for the 3 main characters. We got the guy you'll be playing as, whose name is Clive. Clive Rossfield. That name is
Terrible name.
white as fuck.
Terrible name.
But we got
Ah,
Clive.
yes, the halls of the famous Final Fantasy characters. You have Cloud and Titus or Titus,
Leon.
Auron, Squall. You got Squall or Leon. You got fucking
Noctis.
Noctis. You got
I don't
what's
remember.
his name from what's the Dark Knight from
I don't.
number 3.
I
You got all these famous names, and then you got
Clive, and Joshua. Joshua's his younger brother.
All right.
But they have some thing where it's like, the more interesting thing to me is like the whole world is centered around the fact that like certain characters are in like inherently possessed summons, and so they're kind of like the real like power playmakers of this world. So the younger brother is the one that is straddled with the Phoenix summon, and so it's all about like Clive is supposed to like be protecting his younger brother with his amazing sword skills and whatnot.
Right.
Just seems cool, man. I like the world building a lot. I mean, I like that they're going towards this like more traditional fantasy aspect with it. It's not like the weird Noctis shit, which I kind of liked, but then they didn't really do anything interesting with it.
Yeah.
I like the modern fantasy stuff, but if you're not going to do anything interesting with it, I'd rather you just stick to like traditional fantasy and like give me a good fantasy story like that.
Sure.
But yeah, man.
Maybe I'll care more as when we actually see a game.
Look, I don't know why you're not just hyped for Clive Rossfield.
I'm not, man. That's exactly one of the reasons why I'm not hyped for it. These Ghostbuster shoes from Reebok. So I want to say this, dude. So again, I've mentioned it last couple of weeks, and I don't want to keep mentioning it, so I apologize.
Okay.
Is this true? Yes, it's true.
I'm in
This man has no
a
dick.
lot of Ghostbusters groups on Facebook. One particular group, Yes Have Some podcast.
Yes.
And this group was like lit up when these
For the
shoes
sneakers?
for the 2 different sneakers that dropped. They were
I
like,
didn't see 2 different ones.
yeah,
I saw the
there's
Reebok ones.
a low top one too, I believe. I could be
Oh.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a low top one. And the chat, the page was like, got him.
Yep.
And it's funny because these people are not sneaker collectors.
Yeah.
These people are Ghostbusters retro pop culture collectors.
Right.
But they get everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's really weird for me when I used to be a big sneaker collector, and it's really weird for me when those 2 things intersect, because sneaker collectors and sneakerheads are like some of like the worst fucking like collecting community people of all time. And then toy collectors are also some of the worst. Like, this is a really bad crossover when they intersect. Not saying this group was bad at all. This group was not bad at all. But I'm saying like it's just some of the most toxic types of collectors that can like flippers and resellers and scalpers and stuff like that. But the shoes look cool. I mean, I don't fucking care about them. I didn't care about them when I saw them.
I don't think I'll ever wear them, but I mean, they look cool.
They look cool, but they literally go right into my case if I had them. They go right into the case.
Yeah, they're definitely not a pair of shoes that I would like wear around.
Yeah, or you would wear them like to like a Ghostbusters Day convention or Ghostbusters Day event.
Something like that.
Maybe for the premiere of Afterlife, if you're not wearing your suit.
Yeah.
You know, because I know for a fact that when I go see Afterlife, it's going to be like, okay, how many people have a full proton pack? How many people have a full suit ready to go? And maybe I'm one of them.
Yeah.
But the shoes look cool, but they're sold out obviously,
Yeah.
and they sold out very quickly. And I'm not surprised because GB fans are ravenous for anything.
Yeah.
So, other than that, man, there's the HBO Max Gremlins prequel, which I didn't know about. I don't
I
care.
think I remember reading something about it, but the fact that it's an animated prequel, I don't know. It's just not that interesting to
Not
me.
that interesting to me. I don't really care.
And I love Gremlins,
Right.
but I don't know. I'd rather just get like a Gremlins 3. I just want Mike and Jay's Gremlins 3 to be made.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's the other things you mentioned. If you want to mention those real quick before we end the podcast.
The one thing that was weird was that Netflix is making an Assassin's Creed series, which
It makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense. I think it makes more sense to try to make a movie out of it because it's just. I think it's gotten to that point where it's just like a lot of mediums right now. A lot of people have realized that like TV series or like miniseries are just like better for telling stories.
Oh yeah.
Than a movie is. And I love movies, but like honestly, it's like, you know, when you start getting into like properties like this, it just gets to the point where it's like there's just so much lore and so much like backlog that like you can't really fit it into a movie length. It just is easier to do something like this with like an animated series or a live action series or whatever it is, which it'll be live action.
Yeah.
So there's that. Netflix is getting the next JoJo anime, which is not part 6, which is annoying, but it is Rohan, and I like Rohan as a character. I didn't realize how much like standalone content Rohan has.
Right.
But it makes sense because I guess he's like the insert for Araki, which makes sense because he's a manga writer, so he's got all that stuff in there. But so that's fun.
Right.
And this was something that I hadn't heard too much about. I don't know if you'd heard about it, but it caught my attention that there's a Filipino horror manga coming to Netflix called Treese or Teresi, something like that. Trese. Treese, I think is what it's supposed to be. But I was like looking through because in one of the anime groups I'm in, like a guy was posting about it. He posted a couple of panels from the manga. And it's fucking terrifying.
Oh, really? No, I didn't look at it.
No, it's the art looks really, really good for the manga. It's very much got that like I don't know how exactly to like describe it around. Let me see if I could like send you some of the stills real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can like search it. What happened to the search function? There it is. I'm, like losing my damn mind over here. Okay, here it is. Save some of these. I'll just text them to you.
Oh, sure.
Good time to like figure out how to get these on my phone and some shit. All right, hold on. About to drop them to you right now.
All right.
If I can figure out how to get my phone to work. There we go. I mean, it looks very clean. I mean, obviously these are all like one panels, but
oh yeah.
I mean, it's very clean looking art, and it's
definitely
some legitimately terrifying images at some point. So, but yeah, it's coming out. She's like a paranormal detective, that type of thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just something that always interests me.
It's an anime, you said?
Yeah, okay. So it's coming out with an anime. I think it's supposed to be coming out like next year or something like that.
Okay.
It looks dope. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that sounds.
That was like the last kind of big thing that I saw. So
cool. Well, guys, let's end the podcast for this week. Primarily because I'm about to pee myself.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back next week with more License to View.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.